Okay, inside the Vatican City, the papacy has returned, and this started into the Renaissance era. So first, though, there was something going on called the Western Schism, which had like 3 or 4 different popes all existing at the same time. One, the King of France started one, here had one, another place had one. It caused a lot of discrediting of the papacy and Catholic Church. So in 1418, they figured that out, and they all started working together, focusing on this place once again. After a lot of work, different buildings around here began coming up, like the Apostolic Palace, where the Pope lives, and several of the clergy members of Vatican City to this day, which is over on that side, right here. In 1450, he has lived here ever since. The infamous Vatican Library, right down there, was also built in this time, around mid-1400s, that might hide many secrets of history, lost history, Atlantis, Babylonians, Mesopotamia, Egyptians, stuff that they want to hide from the Islamic culture, aliens maybe, scandal, Mary Magdalene, the lost stories of the Bible, all kinds of crazy stuff is probably in there. Who knows? Paranormal things, riches, secret societies. Nobody's allowed in there but the Pope and a few select few. It's right over there, actually. It has vaults and vaults, like the Indiana Jones, and the end of that is the Vatican Library, where they show there, where they think of what it looks like. It's just these vaults and vaults and vaults of different things that are stored. And remember, in the movie, they took the Ark of the Covenant that just caused all that problems for Indiana Jones, and they just store it in a in a wall full of things. Who knows what it's really like down there and what they have, but yeah, that was first built. All right, so off limits to the public. I'm sure it goes deep into some cavern somewhere. These art-filled halls that are like tourist places now, part of the museum, but back there is the Vatican Library, built in the 1400s, housing the secrets of humanity. Who knows what's in there, man? Different scenes on the wall depicting tons and tons of things. It's just crazy with the art, old maps, globes. Yeah. What a place. So 1470s, the Sistine Chapel was built. That's right near here also. And in 1508, it was graced by Michelangelo's ceiling painting. All right, so right down there in 1470s, the Sistine Chapel was built as a private chapel for the Pope and his cardinals and friends and stuff. And in 1508, it was graced by Michelangelo's ceiling painting and paintings in it, which you kind of get a feel for here. You're not allowed to video or take pictures in Sistine Chapel, which is right around the corner there. But that's all right. We can get a little view of what it looks like. Not inside, but the picture of the Pope and the cardinals right there. Okay, so this is some beautiful paintings also. So let's talk about it. So the Michelangelo famously, off and on, painted all these rooms and areas of the Vatican, bourgeois apartments and chapels and things between 1508 and 1541. He had a real fiery relationship with the Pope at the time, who was a real power-hungry, kind of intense guy in a lot of different ways. And he had him work relentlessly to finish the chapel with his idea for the paintings in there. He had people whip him to hurry up painting on his back to paint the ceilings. They would build these things of wood so he'd be flat on his back. Painting the ceiling art gave him a real bad neck, bad back, hurt his eyes. It was crazy. The torment he felt and angst. But respect to the Pope could be seen symbolically in the art. So there was a lot of tension there. And Michelangelo let it out in Wish we could film on there, but probably have to be BBC or something like that to get access. That's all right. Good job. That is one of the most famous paintings in the world. Very, very popular. Sistine Chapel. In 1509, though, this church right here, St. Peter's, an awful decision, in my opinion, was made by the Pope. He wanted a much grander and larger, put his stamp on things kind of statement. He chose to upgrade the ancient basilica that was over 1,000 years old, made by Constantine the Great, built there in like 324 AD. They tore it down. Oh, God. Why did they do that kind of stuff? But, okay. The construction began on this new church, which is the largest church in the world. It took like 120 years to build, something like that. But that's St. Peter's Basilica, the primary church in all of Catholicism for the world's 1.2 billion Catholics. So during its construction, though, there were several disputes over its design, and Mr. Michelangelo, that painted that amazing ceiling and did a bunch of urban planning around Rome, he stepped in and figured out the architecture of Ninja Turtle fame, Michelangelo. Wow, with the nunchucks. No, just kidding. He helped get the project figured out to be done in 1547. The famous dome, as you see right there, was completed in 1590, and by 1626, everything was finished. The church was open, and what it looks like to this day. It was the world's biggest church. Actually, in 1989, a new church in the Ivory Coast was constructed that's a little bit bigger. Peter's Basilica, this is pretty close right here. This is a awesome statue, maybe of St. Peter himself, probably. This church first was built 324 AD by the Emperor Constantine the Great on the tomb of the Apostle St. Peter, who was crucified upside down by the Emperor Nero, 64 AD, not far from here on the Vatican Hill, and just thrown in the ground over here. Then Constantine built this, not this church, but built a grand church. And then in like 1509, they decided to tear that 1,000-year-old church down, which is terrible. But then this one, the largest church, Catholic church in the world, 1509 to I think 1629, finally was done. And it's the primary church of the Catholic faith, right here. Latin here on this inscription. In honorum of the princeps. So princeps is what they used to call the emperor in waiting. Princeps, or also the consuls of the Roman Republic. Princeps. Right. In honorum princeps Paul. So the Apostle Paul was killed right there, buried right there or something. Killed over there, buried over here. Versus Borgias versus Romans. Burgessi versus Pontifex Maximus. Looks like MDC XII Pont. That means Pope to the 7th. Alright, so these were actually the apartments of the scandalous, kind of sketchy bourgeois Pope. But he loved his art, so he got Raphael to paint his apartments. That Pope, he was actually a member of the Medici family, which was banking. He basically bankrupted his family with taking wealth. famous works ever by artist Raphael, early 1500s. The Pope had him commission the Battle of Constantine the Great here, who was inspired by the cross seen in the sky to victory. And this scene, not sure exactly what happened. She got her nipples out. Some other battle scene here, the crazy ceiling with God and angels and guys in beards, people fighting in medieval times, and the court of heaven looks like some other stuff going on up there. This place is crazy. Oh, more! Oh, early 1500s, you can see here. So this room is extra. A super famous scene that changed the world forever. So his mother was a Christian, but he wasn't totally sold, but he was like, okay, you know. So when he saw that, it supposedly said this will propel you to victory, your faith in this. He had all his soldiers here, depicted beautifully in this battle, put a cross on their shields. The angels of heaven are dictating the event to go Constantine's way. There he is there. There's the shields with the crosses on top of the Roman legion. The Roman legion things that they used to have, I forget the name. And here's the Tiber River. There's the Nineveh Bridge right there. So this battle went down, giving Constantine the Great ultimate supremacy. And right after this battle, he sent his mother down to Jerusalem to find a bunch of Christian relics. He opened up 7 churches in Rome. And for the first time ever, Christianity was legalized somewhat. This scene depicts that one. Start with that one. The battle. Painted in early 1500s in the bourgeois Pope's apartment. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but supposedly a bunch of scandalous stuff went down in here also. Beautiful artwork. So now part of the museum. In 1773 is when this place began. So this is the Vatican Museum, which was expanded upon several different apartments, and interesting times in the papacy during this time where the Vatican was really built up. A lot of aggressiveness was to spread Catholicism all over the Western world. This was European colonialism, let me remind you. So lots of immense riches and different things from all over the world. Egypt, Amazon, and all kinds of things were brought here to be studied and are here to this day. You know, controversially, but what can you do? The art is beautiful. A lot of it was gained in dubious circumstances. What can you say? It is beautiful. The Vatican. All right, just to give you an idea of the grandeur here of the Renaissance. This is my favorite room. The immaculate. Before this was a museum, these were the apostolic apartment. Up and down. Talk about the excesses of just beauty. They just wanted to cover the art. Over here is a map of Italy. At the time this was built, the Renaissance, look out. And this was a map of Italy during the Roman era. And this whole ceiling is filled with crazy art. Where are we? Rome, right there. So this room Now part of the museum, this shows what we're talking about, that Renaissance just quite see this, but a geography nerd like me, this is dope. So this probably was in the 1500s, I'm guessing. So this is what the Spanish and probably English, Portuguese, different people, this is what they knew about. So there's Ireland and England and Scotland, all of Europe. Africa was pretty mapped out well. South America's not bad, but they hadn't been to the West Coast yet. Mexico was, you know, Spanish got there pretty early, but all you have of America is the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, going up the East Coast, up into Nova Scotia, maybe that's New York right there, but all of this was unknown. California's not even on the map, and then they have Asia over here, which looks like Beijing right there, or Beijing, that Gulf is, and different islands. Who knows what that represents? Blank spots on the map. Okay, so the building of the museums were open and things were going pretty good. But then the Napoleonic Wars started, and Napoleon's armies marched into Rome in 1798 and took Rome. And the French garrisons would actually be in the city for almost 100 years after that, which wasn't that bad. You know, the government was a little corrupt, and you know, and then all kinds of stuff started happening. All right, let's focus on the Vatican. So the republicanism of the Italians, they wanted their own country and wanted to be secular. The Pope was trying to hold out on that and hold on to his power. So he held out until 1870, when the French garrison left. The Pope pulled himself up inside the Vatican here, inside the walls. All right, unified Italy. Just couldn't get a hold of the Vatican. Wanted it bad. So this was still a holy place. Pilgrims were coming, but we start getting into some craziness. Fascism starts, and socialism movements start brewing after World War I in Italy. Mussolini comes to power, and Mussolini is actually the one who negotiated with the Pope and created the unified country of the Vatican, or I'm sorry, the sovereign nation. Vatican City. So it's just a fraction of the territory that the papacy used to have in a lot of ways, but they had their own country, which it remains today, the smallest nation in the world. We're standing in it right now. 1929, from Mussolini. So, you have a question?
It's not only smallest by size, 1 kilometer, but it's also by population, only 1,000.
1,000 people. Sometimes I've heard about 600 people only. And 1 kilometer, I could run around the whole country and easily. All right, so here we are. This is the modern town. World War II was kind of sketchy. The Pope wanted to remain neutral, and you know, there's some Pope at the time. Oh, that's cool, the Vatican flag, check that out. That's the country's flag, the yellow with the Pope symbol and the white. It's pretty cool. The super zoom in on the flag. So, oh, perfect timing, more bells. All right, so the Catholic Church is visited by billions since its creation as the country. 1.2 billion of the world's Catholics see this as the seat of their nation. All right, so World War II was a little sketchy. They wanted to be neutral. The Americans didn't want to bomb Rome because they were gonna upset the Catholics inside their army and forces. So the Vatican got spared from bombing in World War II. The Italians turned the tide on the fascist government that was on the side of the Nazis. But it's a little controversial because they say the Pope knew about some atrocities the Nazis were doing, but okay, nothing's non-controversial. But the Vatican lived on after the war, its own country inside the nation of Italy and city of Rome. It has around 600 citizens to 1,000. That includes the Swiss Guard, the security force that has guarded the city since 1506, that wears interesting outfits and they greet you with a salute no matter who you are. Pretty cool. And you know, the Catholic Church is worldwide, all over the place. Mexico, Philippines, Spain, California, with people like me. And I was raised Catholic. Camera woman, you are also Catholic. You have a question?
Do you think some of these other people account for the population?
Someone's yelling.
No.
No, I don't know. I think most people have to leave at night unless you live here. They'll probably close it down. But this is St. Peter's Basilica. The Pope lives here. There's been some controversy the past few years. But evil exists in everything, in my opinion. And this place isn't perfect, but it is what it is. It's the Catholic Church. Amen. I'm here. That's the history of Vatican City. Yes, one more question.
That's not a question. Maybe you should talk about this Pope a little bit.
Oh yes, so the current Pope, Pope Francis, is from Argentina. He's a really nice guy. In a lot of ways, he's real forgiving and accepting of real controversial things like, aliens. He talked about, what Pope would talk about aliens, that we're accepted of other life in the universe, and gays and lesbians, LGBT, he's kind of more accepting towards those. That's the first ever for the Catholics, for sure. Environmentalism, indigenous peoples, working with different religions. He's anti-racist, he's really cool, nice guy. Real, all about peace in the world, and he makes really great comments all the time. And he likes to do the thumbs up, and he drinks that stuff they like. What's that in South America? Matcha. No, not matcha.
Yerba mate.
Yerba mate. Yeah, he likes his yerba mate. Pope Francis, you're here. Well, I'm here. History of the Vatican City. He likes the environment. He cares about the rainforest. All kinds of stuff. Climate change he's working with. And it's all good. History of the Vatican City. Catholics like me, pilgrims to this place to this day. And I'm good though. Remember, with all religions, I'm an omnist. I believe it's all connected. From ancient Rome to Islam to Hinduism to Buddhism to everything out there, Greeks, the Egyptians, we're all connected in this world. And amen.
Conectados en el bien o en el mal, porque tenemos un mismo origen, compartimos la misma casa común.
I wish to express to you their sentiments of respect and esteem, and to assure you of their prayers for your ministry as the successor of Peter. The following is a summary of the Holy Father's words this morning. Dear brothers and sisters, in our continuing reflection on the current pandemic, we have seen how closely connected we are, dependent on one another, healing of interpersonal and social ills, and the growth of the human family in fraternity, justice, and peace. The Holy Father will now greet the English-speaking faithful in Italian.
Saluto cordialmente I fedeli di lingua inglese. Il mio pensiero va in modo particolare ai giovani che riprenderanno la scuola nelle prossime settimane. Su voi e sulle vostre famiglie invoco la gioia e la pace di Cristo. Dio vi benedica.
All right. This I got from Cork, Ireland. My favorite archangel, Saint Michael, my middle name.
This was from Poland, but from a priest in Poland that met another pope.
Yes, and that met my family, my nun and priest, great uncle and aunt, and my Aunt Trudy, rest in peace. This one came from Roja, Poland, where some of my ancestors from. This one also ancestors, Cork, Ireland.
This one we need to get laminated.
That one, yeah, that one's really old. And that one we also got in.
Yeah, we got this in Poland. This one.
No, no, no.
It's Polish on the back.
I think that one's Romanian.
Romanian.
Yes, it's Eastern Orthodox, but an image of Mary nonetheless. That counts. All of these cards now are blessed by the Pope. What do you think about that?
Amazing. Super good.
We can never lose them, ever. That's like, it's like incredible. He touched it. He talked to me. I can't believe we saw the Pope and he talked to me. Bless her son.
I couldn't even say anything.
Walking up into St. Peter's Basilica. Look at this massive size of this little pantheon of the 12 apostles, I would say, up there, right? That's what it probably is. I'm not sure. I'll look it up later. Check the comments. Popes of Rome ever. St. Peter, the first bishop from the empire, early empire times. Those times before 461 were pretty sketchy to be a Christian in Rome. And then after the fall of the Western Empire, different people into that time when the Byzantium was kind of in here. And then you had a lot of turnover, man. Every couple of years, it looks like. You know, life expectancy wasn't very long in those days. Look how many in the 800s. 2 in 1 year and 3 in the next year. 896 and 897. What was that all about? Crazy. A lot of the 900s also. 1000s. 1200s, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18.